Welcome back to We Care a Lot. I'm half the podcast, Sam.
I'm the other half, Mel.
Hey guys. We are in another setting. I don't know why I always announce it. I just don't want to jump scare anyone, I guess. We're at Mel's today, and it's Christmas time, if you can tell. I don't know.
If anything, you can see from this angle, but like
if we were facing that way,
for sure.
Christmas. But today's episode is about love and relationships and the relationships that have gone and been in the past.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. And kind of like how we've left impressions on these people and how those people have left impressions on us, and how like life just, is an accumulation of all those experiences that you have.
Mm-hmm.
When I think about this like idea,
mm-hmm.
I think about little old me, like literally being like 15 or even younger, to be honest.
Honestly,
and
yeah.
Kind of changing my identity for somebody that I liked. Not changing fully, of course, like I want to be me, but also even when you're young, you're impressionable, you're naive, you want them to like you.
Yeah.
So I remember like really trying to enjoy like bands and things that these like guys liked.
Almost pick me.
But
I was cool.
But I was quiet about it.
Oh,
I was like,
okay.
no, I've known about this
You
forever.
said event sevenfold, whatever it's called. Love
Screamo.
I
love it.
I listen to that all the time. With Justin Bieber on my binder.
But I like exactly that. Like that's how I feel about the pieces of me. Like but then again, like some of those things like actually became a part of me, and like I have fully encompassed. I mean, okay, like for example, this one's like I guess less like head on, what is it, like head on the nail on the head.
Nail.
We can never come up with this fucking phrase.
Hit the nail on the head.
Whatever. It's not so like to the point, but I did like a lot Blink-182
mm-hmm.
because of like my brother. I grew up with it, but then like I didn't like love it until there was a guy involved at some point, and then I was like, I'm so about it.
Oh yeah.
But now like I genuinely is one of my favorite bands, like because it's so nostalgic for me.
Okay, question. That just made me think, like, okay, big picture, do you love them now because it was a piece of you, right?
Yeah.
Even though it was kind of fake, like a little, not really fake,
it was
but
like embellished.
Yeah,
a little bit.
It was embellished. Like, do you live for them now because you're like, aw,
because of
like
them?
I kind of not because of them, but like I kind of
like I was
like it was part of me in that time, even though I was like kind of forcing it.
Well, of course. I mean, it's like a little bit of that, and then actual like I really
do enjoy them,
because then it also reminds me, like, it's just, I mean, if we really want to like get into it, but like that then took me to like loving them for myself, and then having like these friendships and connections also adding on top of it, like being like, oh, you really enjoy this band, like that is a piece. Like I think about one of my particular friends, I think about that friendship as well, where like we were very in tune in that way with that band, and I'm like, cool, like, so it's like it gets added to, if that makes sense, like the portrait of life, just more brush strokes,
and it also isn't necessarily like doing it because I want to be liked by this person, at least not in my adult life. It's not for those reasons. It's like, I really like this person, we're friends, they like this song, I'm gonna listen to the song,
let's just check it out,
and then I end up really loving the music, because if I really like this person and we're good friends already and they like this song, most likely I also and
will.
Sometimes you don't, and that's fine. But I think that's also part of the intertwined like connections that you build, and that's also why it's so fucking hard to let go of people sometimes, because you're like, what do you mean I love this artist because of you? Or I guess like even beyond music, like I love this purse brand because of you, or whatever. Like it could be so many different things.
Yeah.
And I think in our childhood it did start from a lot of like, you're gonna like me because of this one. Like, yeah, I love fucking Arctic Monkeys or whatever, which like now I fucking genuinely do really love.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it does stem from like wanting to be liked, and that's not great. Because I feel like I did that also
But
with friends. Not
it's
just
honest.
like, yeah.
It's honest.
But it's honest. I'm sorry.
Do you
like,
remember, this reminds me of when tried to call me out for liking a song in the car with you on the way to Texas, and I was like,
what song was it?
It was Janae Aiko. It was something, I don't know what it was, which one it was, but it was playing and I didn't skip it. I must have been skipping songs or something. Like, a fiend. He's all tuned in.
I'm in the back just
literally. I think I said his name. I think I'm gonna bleep that out. I stayed on the song, and he was like, oh, because Mel's in the car, like, you're gonna pretend like you like this song. And I was like, I actually really like this. Maybe it was like a layer of like, you don't know who I am anymore. And
maybe.
two, because like we would sit in the car for hours.
And we would exchange music all the time.
I mean, I don't know if I really gave you anything worthwhile. To be fair, I'm not the music friend.
But I feel like that was one of my favorite things, is like playing like music that you maybe didn't like listen to, and I was like, oh my god, I think you would like this or whatever.
Yeah, you do that a lot.
I don't know if I said anything, but if I didn't, I wish I said like, actually she plays this a lot in the car.
I don't remember if you said anything, but that's the thing, like friendships, romantic relationships, like you become intertwined with that person based on like a foundation of whatever
simple
common
interests or whatever.
And that's why it's so hard to let them go. But regardless of letting that person go, and I think moving forward in your life, you'll always have like a sense of hopefully good feelings about like that artist, that thing that you guys had in common, even though you're not close anymore. And if you have bad feelings, like I feel like that's even harder, because you're just like, I just don't listen to them anymore, or I have to do some work to disconnect that
from them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a hard piece.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm not very good at the disconnecting it. Instead, I'll just like make myself sad,
just fucking cry. That's kind of like, I love doing that though, especially with music. There's just something so cathartic about it.
Such a healthy relationship with nostalgia. It's like bad. Like I can't. It has such a grip on me. And I'm not always living in the past. No. Because I know that like that's what people like usually think. But like I genuinely enjoy like the sorrow of my own fucking feelings of being like, that was such a beautiful time. That person did me
so dirty.
But also that was like such a beautiful time when we were friends or we were together or whatever. You know, it's like,
I
really enjoyed it.
I romanticize the fuck out of my life.
Yeah. Let's talk about romanticizing your life. I do it, but like with the past.
Yeah, literally, because it's like dating someone for a couple months and it ends, and then you just like hear a song and you're like, oh, that was so us.
So us.
And it's like, I don't even know what I'm talking about or what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of one instance or whatever, and then you just like replay it in your head as you're listening to the song. You don't even hear the song anymore. You gotta replay the song.
Yep.
And there's something beautiful about that.
The toxic of us comes out.
Is it not? Like, do people not agree with that?
I think people agree, but I don't think it's...
They admit it.
But also it's not healthy.
They're embarrassed? Why?
I think there's a healthy
Why is it not healthy?
I've actually, like, Jen and I were talking about this the other day, how, like, like, nostalgia has such a grip on us, but, like, we constantly are craving this feeling that we had then when, like, we didn't even know we had it then. You know, it's like now...
Yeah, in the moment, you were just kind of, like, living.
Yeah, but now it's like, oh, that was the feeling.
Yeah.
I want it back.
It's so bad.
And it's because I'm heavily depressed all the time. But like, it's just like, it's hard to just be like, yeah, but girl, you didn't feel it then. Like the moment you're having right now is probably the feeling that you're going to want in like 5 years or whatever.
Yeah.
But so anyway, like the healthy way, I guess, to look upon it is like just really thinking like, that was such a beautiful time. I'm so grateful for it. And instead of being like, I wish I was there, or like I wish I'm doing this, you know. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely not wishing I was there again.
I wish I could relive like times of my life.
Like just close my eyes for a second.
Like I wish I could dream about it,
but feel like you're there.
But I feel like I'm there.
Yeah.
But I can't.
No.
I don't have that kind of superpower. But anyway, the intertwining of those identities can be tricky, and untwining them.
What's the word? Unintertwining?
Detwining? What the fuck is the word? Anyway,
I don't know.
Taking those things apart is difficult, and especially sometimes like they are really engraved into you and they're not even about this person anymore, but it can bring you back.
I think that's also the part is like, in my own head, I also have to remember that it's not about that person.
Yeah.
Because then, I mean, for me, it's not that hard. For other people, it might be, and maybe that's why people don't do it. But like for me, I'm not like, I want to text them now, or like I want to hit them up. None of that.
See, I'm not like that either.
No, none of that.
I'm more so like I'm obsessed with the memories of
right.
you.
Even
well, the good ones.
Yeah. And even the bad ones, I'm like, I lived through that. Like, it's about me still, you know what I mean? Like, oh my god, he did me so wrong, I'm gonna cry to this song, like, yeah, you fucked up our future, you know what I mean? Like,
you're just a good one. That's a good one. I think I do that too,
right? You're like,
it's a bit of like victimizing, but it's fine.
A little, but it's in an uplifting way. My therapist said it's healing. Okay. Yeah, I think we did talk about friendship too, and like how it's, I mean, you love your friends, so it's the same thing as romantic. Not like, necessarily the same, but like in some ways.
Yeah. I mean, of course, like there's such a different depth to like a partnership, but I do think that there's like a small thin layer or a veil, I guess, of like the difference between a friendship and a romantic partnership.
Yeah.
I feel like, and this is like the conversation about, I guess, like soulmates, but a friendship can mean so much and like could hurt so much more even, because I think there's like, I feel like the extraction of the layer of sexual intimacy or that kind of intimacy is almost even like, it's like, wow, we're real deep without even doing nothing deep, you know what I mean? So it might hurt a little more sometimes.
Yeah, I think it depends.
I have way harder time with like friendship breakups than I do with
romantic. I don't know where I landed in that.
I've also haven't had like a breakup in a really long time, and nor have I had one that's like,
they're more prevalent. Friendship breakups are more prevalent to you now, is why it probably hurts more.
But I think back at like younger me, and I also feel probably the same. Like those did hurt, and like I could still reflect on the other ones, and I'm like,
it was also more of a sense of rejection to lose a friend than losing a partner. It's still rejection, but it's about me. Like especially in your cases, it's like, you fucked up. Yeah. I didn't do anything.
I didn't do nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
Yeah. I was just thinking like the sex aspect in romantic relationships, sometimes it can get like tricky depending on like if you have like certain, I don't want to say morals, but like codes of ethic for yourself. Like I just take sex very seriously, and then you do it and then you break up with that person. It's kind of like a, oh, well, now I feel done dirty or like violated or whatever, you know. And I don't know, maybe sometimes people have those connections, but also sex really does just add a layer. I remember my mom telling me one time, I don't know why she told me this. I don't remember why, but she was like, sex complicates things, it doesn't make anything easier. And I was like, I don't know how old I was. I was
little
probably
15-year-old. I was like, oh shit.
I probably like was barely, I don't know, a couple years into my first relationship or something, 1 year, I don't know. And
had you guys already had sex at that point?
Yeah, probably.
You're like, Mom, shut up.
And then I kind of thought about it, and I was like, she's so right.
It's so true though,
because like you feel attached to that person, which is disgusting. Actually,
it's actually disgusting. And I don't know why biologically like we can't get over that fact.
Like, let's get over it right now. Let's all just close our eyes.
Breathe in, breathe out. It's over.
It's not that easy, but yeah, I think it is like different. You're right, like not having sex and still feeling that connected to somebody, but then having sex is like a whole nother layer of intimacy.
It's like it's not comparable at all. But the depths are like, I can see that they could get just as deep on either end.
They're equal but just different.
Yeah.
And I think the intertwining in terms of like sex also exists, of like not necessarily like memories, I guess. Memories of like being intimate with someone in that way also like hold weight, especially if it's like first relationships or second relationships. It's like, obviously it could be good, it could also be bad, but those also live within you forever, and those pieces exist. And you know, on a silly note, like the fact that someone else has that on me, I hate. Like, I don't want that piece of me to exist in other people. I'm selfish like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why did I give you that?
Yeah.
Not in a way where I'm like, I regret everyone I've ever slept with, but just like ew, like, you're thinking about that? I don't know. Do you
I
know
have
what I'm
that
saying?
thought, but not for me.
I get what, yeah.
I have it for like the not so fun memory part of it, but
that
like,
too, yeah.
it's just it is like a hard piece of like, can we just like when we break up, can we just erase?
Yeah.
Just take it off.
They haven't even deleted photos, like guaranteed.
I was thinking about this the other day.
Oh no.
I'm not gonna say it all. Never mind. I'm not gonna say it.
Why?
Okay, say it, but okay. Because I was like listening to the Paris Hilton, Call Her Daddy episode, and she was talking about like having that sex tape like put out and stuff, and how violating it was for her. And of course, as a society, we've like moved into a place where that is no longer acceptable.
Yeah.
But I constantly think about like within like with the first person that like I was intimate in that way with, there's a lot wrong with that piece, but like that was also something that happened where like I wasn't asked for that to happen, and I constantly think about like that's a piece that you have exists. That like if that exists, I'm so uncomfortable, but I can never address it with you.
That piece is really interesting to think about, like why, especially like for me, delete immediate.
Me
like,
too.
Why
do I want to keep this shit? Those pieces of you I do not want to keep.
I don't even keep them in the moment. Like
me either. I'm not that type of person.
Men are not it anyway.
Interesting, huh?
Like women are works of art. Sorry.
And maybe that's
and
like
sometimes a man is. Sometimes. But it's
very, very often not.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. I feel like there is like always that friend too, and maybe we judge too hard as a society because of this whole codependency like kick we're all on of like you need to be the most independent motherfucker on planet Earth, right? I
don't fully agree with that.
I feel like we judge our friends a lot for like when they get in a relationship and then they start changing for that person in a way, which like I guess where is that healthy balance? Like obviously we said, okay, maybe our friends sometimes introduce us to something and then we like it. So like the same could be said for a romantic partner. Like, oh my god, they play this song, I love this song. I mean, now I love this song.
Totally, dude.
Yeah, I guess there's just a fine line of like,
are you
changing for them or with them?
Or like, are you adding to who you are, or are you completely discarding the person that you were without this person, and now you're becoming essentially a copy, or like taking everything from this other person, and
or an ideal version of
what
they want or what you think they want, or
yeah, totally.
Yeah, but what comes with that too is like you change with that person, and then all those things that like changed within that are now tied to that person. So like now this artist, this playlist that we have, this movie we watched together, we never got to watch the next movie, or like all these like little micro things that were nothing essentially in a relationship. Once it ends and you move on, it's like, oh, that's so funny how everything reminds me of you now.
That's fucking real.
Because like when you're in it, it's just like normal life. It's like whatever.
Yeah.
But then it's like you're broken up and you're like, oh, I didn't realize that existed my whole life until we're no longer together.
You get to realize how much of those pieces that are you are also of the other person, and you're kind of like taken aback of like, oh, I've revolved not my entire life, but a big piece of myself with the things that identified us as like in our relationship as people.
And then you kind of get lost in the detwining. I don't know what the word is.
Untwining,
whatever it is. You get kind of lost and you're like, am I picking apart things that were never me, or do I even want to get rid of these things? Like, are they me now?
I have such a hard time with that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like, for me also, there's always, if I date someone, there's always one specific thing that shows up in my life consistently from like about them. And it's not even anything like crazy. Like, let me just one example. I was dating a Marine at one point. And everywhere I looked, there was Marines stuff, stickers, like proud Marine mom, like, you know, everywhere.
So, like,
signs, commercials were about the Marines, and I was like, I don't even like this guy. So like for me, sorry if you're if you're listening, I don't, whatever.
There was a few Marines. Also, you're not the only one.
Yeah. Anyways, so so it's just like I'm dumbfounded. Like, oh, the Marines existed before I dated one. Marines make this like an ad, which like is stupid because I know a lot of Marines. Like in general, yes. I am very much aware.
Like, so
it wasn't in my daily life. Yeah, I was just like, the Marines exist, whatever. Sorry. But anyways, that's my thing. Whenever I leave some sort of situation, I'm constantly reminded, and I'm like, universe, is it me or is it you? Like, are you sending me all these signs, or is it me just like picking out things to be like, ah,
like being hyper focused on something?
Yes. And then I'm like, in your life. Oh my god, the universe wants us to be together, or like something stupid, you know?
Yeah.
And I do that a lot, and it's really annoying. And I try, like, even if I notice it, I'll try not to say anything. I'm like, that's weird. Just gonna internalize that.
Yeah. I like, when I think about this topic a lot, I don't really like identify, I guess I can identify it with it, but it's more so in terms of friendships at the moment, because we talked about that, but
yeah,
I like think about you and like in the last relationship that you were in, like there was so much
relationship,
not that
or
you
like
changing, relationship.
Okay.
Not that you were changing, but I think you added so many interests to your life that like you were excited about too. It wasn't like because they liked it, you liked it.
Mm-hmm.
But there was like so many things that were prevalent, and that like I went to some of the things that like were fun.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Things
I know
like that, like sports and like playing, Switch games and like things like that. Like
I enjoyed them.
You enjoyed them, and now like it's just crazy that you can go to a Dodger game. You know what I mean? I will say, you don't play Switch anymore. This is my intervention. I'm like, you need to get back on the Switch.
Get back on. I'm about to pay my monthly or my yearly fee for internet or whatever the fuck. Anyway, but yeah, I think I used not to think badly about it, because like I don't think it's a bad thing to be interested in the things that your partner is interested in.
Yeah.
But at the time, I guess there's a balance. Like, obviously don't make your whole life their interest,
right?
Which is the key. But it's just, I think that's why when you break up and you have all these things that are like pieces of them, some things make the cut for your life moving forward, and some things don't. And that's not to say like the next person I like seriously, whatever you want to, seriously dated, I don't even know if you can call it that anymore, but to me it was seriously dating. They were interested in a different sport, and I became interested in that sport. Not like I was watching it by myself or anything, but I was like, cool, like you're interested in that thing, like I'll keep up with how's it going, how's your team doing, whatever. But like there is just some like, and now I don't care about that sport again, because it's like,
but I also don't think that that's like a terrible thing. I feel like that sometimes people like will convolute, and I don't think it needs to be that. I think it's just like, it's not a fucking bad thing to like, when you're trying to date somebody, or even like trying to be friends with somebody, it's not like you're taking upon all these things and making them yours. Mm-hmm. It's more of like you're showing them kindness and interest by trying things out and like figuring out
like, where do I fall into your interest? Like, am I gonna come to things? Am I just gonna ask you about them? Am I interested in them at all?
Exactly. And also just like, it's, I think, just kind to want to be involved in some form. Like, it's just showing that you're caring and you care about this person and the things that they love. Yeah. Versus like, I think people like can sometimes really like turn it into something that it doesn't have to be,
like the codependent thing. Yeah. And I think also the part of that is like, okay, clearly I broke up with that person and some things didn't make it through because that's not the life that I want to have alone. Like, I wouldn't go out of my way to go watch a fucking football game with my girlies. It's not something I would do. Some women do that. Some people do that. And that's fine. But for me, it didn't carry on throughout. Like, I wasn't like, oh my God, this is a part of my life that I've like now realized is great. And I guess like that's kind of the beautiful thing, which is I guess the beauty and the sorrow that we were talking about is exes, even though they might have sucked or did really bad things, there still are like the good things that came out of it. Like, I think about my first boyfriend, and I don't even remember, I think I was just traveling a lot with him, and we joked that I would make a travel blog, and he's the whole reason I have a blog to this day. And like, I still use the camera he gave me for Christmas one year, and like, those are things that can't be replaced. And like, without him, I wouldn't have gotten it that way. Maybe I still would have done it, but like, I think there is still a piece of me that appreciates what he did for me in that journey. And even the bad things, like, okay, yeah, he sucked, and I still appreciate that he taught me those lessons. But it's a lot easier now when I'm not as attached to like the negative
things.
The positive comes a lot easier to be like, yeah, like,
I'm grateful for that piece. Yeah, that's so true. Oh man, now you have me like
thinking about
picking the gratitude list out of everything.
I mean, we could be grateful, I guess. we could be nice on this podcast for once.
For real. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's like a lot of pieces. I just like I can see in like the last relationships that I was in, like the pieces that I took, the pieces that I let die, because I'm like, I don't want to ever think about this person in that way. And like there was a point where I really thought that I was going to be like a music manager.
Yes.
Or like a musician or artist like manager. And I was really excited about that. And I couldn't, like, I think I just kind of like, there's many things. I just like, my self-doubt is crazy. But like, I think a big piece was also just like, I don't want to be involved in like that world.
Because it reminds
me of
that person.
Yeah. And it's just like, that's silly, girl, you know? But I did it already.
Letting go of it?
Yeah, but I also don't want to do that anymore. You know what I mean?
Okay,
I think,
well,
like, and that's the gratitude part. I'm like, oh, it just showed me what I didn't want to do. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
But
there's a lot of
and like
learning
my
in that.
first boyfriend. I don't know. I think I was heavily involved in basketball.
Oh, you want to be WAG? What is it?
I was gonna be a WAG. No, wait.
What is it? I don't know.
Wives
of athletes. I don't know what it's called.
Anyway,
you guys know
basketball
what we're talking
wife.
about, yeah.
Yeah, I don't
but
know. But like,
that's
I love basketball because of
I will
it
still
now.
say yes to go to basketball games, football games, soccer. I would be at any sporting event that a loved one invites me to.
I think like that
personally
really like pushed me forward into being like a person who loves going to like any type of game. And I'm grateful. Thank you, men.
Thank you. It's a rare occasion.
Literally. But yeah, there's like I just think of small things, and like there's a lot of like musical and artistical parts of like another person that I can think of, and I'm like, I think like it's cool to see like the pieces. I know this is like more so about like pieces of us and other people, but I think like the pieces still live on of like what I enjoyed from those like relationships in me, and like I don't ever try to guilt myself about it, because it's like I'm not holding on to those relationships. It's more like I learned a lot about myself in those. Yeah,
it's about you at the end of the day. It's not about like it is about them, and because like I acknowledge that yes, these things happen because of you, the lessons I learned, but then I really start thinking like, okay, so what pieces do they have of me?
Yeah.
Which like,
well, I can tell you all of them right now.
I just think it's so interesting, like there's like a quote too about something like, any love I've ever given to anyone is theirs and not mine. Like it's theirs forever to keep. Like I never gave it with attachment to have it back. Yeah, to have it back, which is very interesting and like valid. And those pieces are old pieces of us too. Like
they're old versions of us. Yeah.
Because like the pieces I have of my first boyfriend, my God, I haven't been with him for 5-6 years. I don't know who he is today.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's been that long.
I literally 5 years.
That put me in a panic.
Maybe 4. Because you and Logan were together.
We were together.
Yeah, you were together.
Oh.
And then we broke up. Like that year.
Yeah, maybe 4.
Yeah. So like 4 years ago, like totally different people. And the pieces he has of me, like, who is that girl? It's giving housewife. I don't know who she is.
That's so fair that those were different versions. It's almost like,
I'm like,
why am I getting this like image of like you're with this person, you like crawl out of that skin,
Bro.
and then like you live this skin with them.
They keep the chrysalis.
Yeah, they keep the chrysalis of us. You're welcome. Hang it on your wall.
I'm actually really dead at that. Like, just imagine them crisping.
Yeah.
Link, enjoy that chrysalis, babe, because that's all you get.
That's all you get, but enjoy it. It's beautiful to look at. It's my old skin.
Yeah. I think for me, too, this most recent thing that I've, like, slightly hinted at and talked about on the podcast, it's, like, it was such a short connection, but it's still, for me anyways, like,
it was super
carried
impactful.
some like memories and things that I'll hold on to. And for me, it's more like memories in that scenario, like less like things that remind me of that person, like specific things. It's more like things that they said,
feelings that they gave you, and
yeah, and like certain moments that felt like they could have like gone on for the rest of our lives or whatever, which like is still in that saying that like I'm not like mad that they ended the way they did or whatever, because I'm like, whatever, it happened the way it was supposed to.
Yeah.
And like it's so weird too, because I think on our like second or third date, I really should not have been telling him this stuff. That's so crazy. But like I told him that like the next person in my life was supposed to come in and like teach me something, like be a like this great fucking like person who taught me a lot about life, love, relationships. I have no idea, whatever. And he was like,
and was it wrong?
And he was like, that's a lot of pressure. And I was like, oh, I mean, like, you could literally just teach me what love is supposed to look like. Like, it's not that deep. Like, it doesn't have to be.
You don't have to be it.
Yeah. Which, like, obviously in the moment I
wanted
it really badly to be it. Which, like,
yeah.
Funny enough, now I look back and I get the ick, but it's fine. I know, I'm officially at the ick stage.
Okay, good.
Anyways. So, like, even the short-lived things, like, they carry their, like, impactful lessons, I guess, which is still something that I carry with me, and now I'm looking in for the next relationship. Like, I think aside from the nostalgia, there's still like the lessons that then are like, okay, now the next one I have to look for
these things that
this person did or did not give to me.
Yeah, the pieces that they left or never
or
took away.
Yeah, took away, not that. No, they don't take pieces away from me, I don't think. Do they?
No, not like your pieces, but it's
Yeah.
like they gave you a piece of a puzzle and then they were like, actually, that's mine. You know? I feel that.
Actually, no.
Yeah. I don't think like time is relevant to how impactful something can be, to be honest.
Even a one night stand, man.
You never know, dude.
Those be leaving you with
you fucking never
some
know.
pieces.
A lot can be said in a day, you know?
Yeah.
And felt.
Yes. So all that being said, I think a breakup essentially feels like you're losing a part of you, because like we said, you pick and choose these things that are going to move forward with you. But I guess we just need to like reframe
our minds on that.
Because it's less about losing your identity, which like I get in one sense you are losing and grieving like that version of you, but you're actually getting closer to who you are with a breakup.
Yeah.
Because you're now deciding
you're sifting through all the things that you created together or created for this other person, and now you're like, you know what, that actually never really sat well. I don't have to take it on, especially now that they're not in my life.
Right.
Because there are pieces of people that you don't necessarily want to carry.
Yeah.
But I think like the initial shift of like figuring out the things that we want to keep and not want to keep is very like it really like throws you for a spin on your identity. Like what am I? Like who am I without this thing, without these interests, without this person, you know?
Yeah. And I wonder if Water. I wonder if like with age that gets less relevant. Like I feel like in our youth it's so much easier to not change, like we've talked about it, but like not change with that person or for that person, but like become a different person in a relationship maybe.
Yeah.
But when you're older, like let's say 30s, I feel like you have a more solid basis of who you are and what you like to do, but because of these experiences, you know, like it's because you went through all of these different people and love and relationships that built you to be and figure out who you like end game most, you know, obviously with some changes here and there, but like for the most part who you are and what you identify with. So then like really I'm just putting it out there, like I wonder if you feel less attached to like the changes, like do the changes get smaller and smaller with each breakup or age that you get, like incrementally? Obviously it's devastating regardless of what age you are, but I wonder if the sense of identity gets easier.
It's left like shifting and you're like, oh, okay,
yeah,
taking this piece, let's go.
I guess it depends.
It depends on the situation, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that like just brings me back to the thought of like, I think it's like, again, like the codependency thing. Like a lot of people view it as codependency or like not knowing yourself enough. But I think it's kind of insane for somebody to believe that they're going to create their entire life and interests just on solely themselves. Like your experience on this planet is to like literally mirror each other and vibe off of each other, and like that's kind of how you learn who you are, is like through
trying
other people
things, yeah.
and trying things which involve other people.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's crazy to think that like your entire identity will only become parts that like you discovered on your own.
No
like
one
it's
has
I think
that.
that's like impossible, quite
yeah,
honestly.
no one has that. You literally can't, because think of that friend that invited you to a concert or just showed you an album, or like there's just, that's a human experience.
Or even like you just looking at a piece of art and you're like incredibly moved by it. That's somebody else's thing that they were then also, it's just like the ball keeps rolling back to somebody else, you know, like it's never about just you. And I think like anybody who thinks that, and that's crazy to say, but like I think your identity isn't just about you. Like it's about all of the people and experiences that you were impacted by, and that's totally fucking fine. It's not codependent.
Yeah, and not even that like the codependency part, but like I don't know, I feel like some people might feel a loss of identity by acknowledging that other people helped create it. Identify them, right? Like, oh, an ex-boyfriend showed me football and now all I do is watch football or whatever, we're no longer together. It's not like you no longer need to watch football even though you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like now it's a moment for you and your family to watch football together and you actively enjoy it or whatever. Or your next partner like also loves football and now you guys bond on that. Like there's so many ways to look at it from a positive lens instead of the negative.
Totally.
Which is so much easier after some time has passed. Like I'm not saying if you just broke up with someone be like, oh, I love everything they gave to me and like all the lessons I learned.
That's really hard.
It takes a long time and that's okay. It's fine. But yeah, I think we just have to come from a more positive lens of all of the beautiful things that come out of connections even after they end.
Similar to that thought of the, you know, the identity being made up of all these people. I think like we all act as mirrors to each other, and we can really showcase the things that we like and don't like about ourselves through looking at other people. And I think that just like
and
goes
sometimes
back to
people
the point.
don't know it.
Sometimes you have no clue.
Yeah, you need to think about it a little.
But yeah, like I think it's, again, the people in our lives are extremely important, whether you're quite literally taking the things that they like for yourself and making it yourself, like your own shit, or they're a mirror of you and you're mirroring like off of them and you're like, holy shit, like I don't like that about that person, I'm gonna stop doing that. Like that's, I realize that's something that I also do that I don't like.
Yeah.
Or I really enjoy that they're really compassionate and I feel like I see that you know, the way that they go about their compassion and the way that they talk to people is super like inspiring. I'm gonna take a little bit more of that, or whatever, you know, like it's just people are mirrors, and
yeah,
I think it's just best to accept that. And
I think the part that like people don't see and just subsequently blame others is not realizing that there's some self-reflection to be done, and like, oh, I see, like it doesn't even have to be alone, but processing these feelings you have with someone else is also super helpful. Like, don't you feel like you do that too, bestie? Or something, you know? Like,
yeah,
sometimes it's good to have that sounding board, and you just realize like, oh, okay, like maybe I want to stop, or I want to start doing that more. It bugs me because I'm not like that, and I wish I was. Like, it's a jealousy thing or whatever. But yeah, lots of self-reflection is also important. I was thinking about, I don't know why, like the silly things that like get carried on through people that I don't want to carry with me, but I do. And it's like sayings, you know? Do you ever catch yourself saying like something and then you're like, oh, like that sounded like something my ex would say?
I think I completely removed like the old people in my life. Yeah. Or I don't recognize it anymore.
Because it's you now.
Because it's me now.
which is scarier.
I don't know what that's about. But I can see that with like Logan. Like the things that we say, the things that we do.
Oh, like if you were to break up, you mean?
Yeah, like it'd be insane. It'd be a little bit of identity shift. Like, what the fuck?
Like, I can't say that anymore.
I don't even speak like myself. With
right.
myself,
I think that's like a really scary shift too. Like vocabulary. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like,
we didn't even get into like ideals because we're talking about like interests and whatever, but like ideals.
Yeah.
When people like, I can think about a few people in my life.
Like, I no longer actually want to get married ever, and it was like their whole identity for like 3 years.
3 years.
And you're like, holy shit,
where'd that go?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like politics and things like that.
It's them now.
It's them now.
And that's okay.
But I also like wonder if like they're broken up, will you still think the same?
Maybe. You never know.
Or maybe it's like you just found your more truer self
in that person. It could go either way.
They made you not fear being a bigot.
Potentially.
You know?
Potentially. Or they looked past things for the sake of love.
Yeah.
Hey, who am I to judge? I'm just sitting here on a Tuesday, okay? Speaking on how people change in relationships and the politic, ideals, whatever, and you'll never know if that was like the truest version of them or not. I don't know what to say on that, because like change is inevitable, right?
Right.
We know that. And it does really irritate me that I don't know whether that change was because of them or because of the other person. I guess either way, it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter. I think it's just accepting that it came from your experiences in general.
I mean, that's the thing too. You can still stand by who you were then and be like, yeah, I mean, maybe I don't believe in the same things or like the same things that I did then, but I truly felt like it was my identity. It's not like I wasn't trying to do something out of pocket. Like, it's just what I felt was right to do in that moment, and now I don't. And I guess that's like part of embracing the fact that it's okay. You don't have to be like me and be like, ew, giving housewife. Because like I genuinely was excited.
If you kept that fucking
man,
no, that too. But if you kept that the act up, I've been like, girl, the man is gone.
Stepford Wives as hell. I'm like, I just need to find a husband. I need to get married by 26. I want to be.
I feel like at this point I would have fucked with you. At this point I'd be like, time is ticking, girl.
You're so evil. I mean, like, I still do love the homemaking of it all. Like, I do think I will be very much in that.
I think you will go back, not in a bad way. Yeah. But you will.
I'll lean in again.
You'll lean in again, and that's not a fucking problem.
Because I still do a lot of homemaking shit without a partner.
It's that was just always not, a part of it. It was just easier to fully dive in.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Catch me in my cottagecore outfit, running through a field with my chickens.
Oh my god, have you ever heard of what was her name? Something Gwen's?
Gwen's?
She was like an ASMR artist. No?
What'd she do?
So she was very much like she was like an ASMR artist at first, and then she would do like little hauls of like her in bikinis and stuff, and then she went into like fully doing like OnlyFans.
Okay.
And then I don't know if she's doing this like for money. I hope, because it's kind of like so smart. Okay. But she kind of just like completely reverted to a different way, and then people are saying it's because she's like in love with this man who's like kind of like wants a Stepford wife, like just like somebody.
Oh, but she's leaning in.
And her whole entire content, she took out her like, I think she still has her OnlyFans up for like money, but she doesn't
like
post
passive
it anymore.
Income, right?
Yeah, but she's now like talking about like she's like an anti-vaxxer and like
what,
like literally like
see in
bread making, but like in like her little like frilly like outfits, and like talking about being like a homemaker in that kind of way, and like in a very like anti-feminist way.
Oh man, okay.
Yeah, and not progressive at all, but like even anti-feminist. When she was completely different. She was queer before, now she's like anti-gay.
See, in that case, I'm like, that's wild. Not what we're talking about, right? Like, we're not talking about change unless, see, that's the thing. Did she truly find herself?
That's what I'm saying.
No, there's no way.
I don't know though.
You can't just not be gay anymore though. Unless she was pretending to be gay.
Maybe
she was pretending.
She was like in a relationship.
But maybe she was pretending because it was like cool and made her money on OnlyFans. Maybe.
I don't
and now she's truly
her partner was
awful.
never on it though. She was like in a relationship. People knew about her relationship because she posted on Instagram. But like the partner, I don't know.
People are evil.
You're right. I don't know.
She could have been doing it for the clout. She could be doing it now for the clout.
We
don't know.
I don't fucking know, dude. Get your money. I
Peace
hope she
love.
comes out the woodwork and is like, I just did it for money. Fuck you. You know?
I got the men.
I
mean, maybe get in your bag.
Get in your bag, girl.
But also don't
harm anyone. Because
don't be homophobic
there's like
or anything.
A lot of women on that. They're like, yes, girl, I feel seen. And I'm like, oh my God.
See that part? I don't know.
It's like, how unhealthy.
Maybe. It's giving the experiment that girl did her senior year of high school to be pregnant. To see how people would react. Do you remember that?
No.
Yeah, some girl pretended to be pregnant because it was such a like stigmatized thing. And so she recorded everyone's like reactions and like how she was treated at school. And then the end of the year rally, she was like,
it's
I'm
fake,
not
bitches.
pregnant, hoes. That would have been so iconic.
Oh, why did I think about that?
I would have loved to do it too, like the psychology of it all.
Oh, so good.
Missed
opportunity.
Anyways, I think that's it. Hopefully you guys found this, I don't know,
entertaining at the very least.
Entertaining, relatable. It's nice to think about the nice things in love, because I feel like we do talk about some of the negatives.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, and they're not all negative, and we know that. And so to the men haters in our comments all the time,
not the people who hate men, but the
men
that
who
are
haters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Peace and love.
Peace and love, and like,
I hope you're good in someone's story. At least one person's, you know?
It sucks to be the villain in people's story. I understand.
Because for me, I could never like, that would keep me up at night.
That would keep me up at night.
And that's why I get it.
I get why you're commenting.
I'm not the villain in anyone's story, right?
We're the villain in their story, the people that are commenting.
That's fair, and I can live with that because I don't know you.
But anyway, I hope you're doing well.
Yes.
And if you got this far, thank you for the view.
Yeah.
Or lost the listen, you know?
Yeah. I just think I'm thinking about it again now. Like, the pieces of me that exist in other people. Like, is this the Leo in me? Is this the main character energy in me? It's just like, no, like, they were good. Like, you want me back. You just aren't saying anything right now.
You think it's too far gone. And it is.
But we are too far gone. But you want me.
But you want me.
Right?
We're delusional.
I mean, fuck it.
This is my main character's story, okay?
Yeah. Everyone wants me, and that's it. Even their moms want me back, so.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So anyway, I hope you guys have a good week. We'll see you guys in Glowing Hour.